Good evening and welcome to Series 3, Episode 12 of Ox Sports Unleashed. Happy New Year from everybody at Ox Sports Unleashed, and wherever you are in your jacuzzis, your bathrooms, your living rooms, welcome to Oxford Downs Cricket Club on an absolutely miserable Thursday night, but we thank Oxford Downs for the use of the studio here, and we thank them very much. So yes, a busy Christmas period for all grassroots sports, a lot of weather around that probably curtailed quite a lot of fixtures, I have to say, but plenty of action. Lots coming up tonight, probably a shorter programme than normal, but still lots of information to give you and stuff. So looking forward to kicking 2026 off with a blast, and hopefully you can stay tuned and there's a sport that resonates with you. Colin, good festive season for you?
Very good festive season. I was a bit torn because my hometown club Southampton were playing Oxford United on Boxing Day, and Oxford United won. And I disgraced myself by moaning about Southampton, usual stuff, going 1-0 down, etc., etc. And when they equalised, I went, yes! So maybe I shouldn't have done that in commentary. But it's interesting, I think, Boxing Day for me, but mixed emotions. I think I've said on the podcast that I don't want to see Oxford United go down. Don't want to see Southampton go down either. But there you go.
Absolutely. Very torn that day,
Indeed,
I'm sure. I think a good chance to say, if you want to send us any clips, we really want to hear from you to showcase any sport, because we've got a couple of interesting interviews coming up in 2026 with fives. Google it, and you'll see what that sport represents. Some Chargrove children's football, walking football and women's football coming up in this year. So plenty to get our teeth into over the next few months before we go out to pasture in the summer and enjoy the sun. Seems a long way away, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But Colin, over to you. Get us going.
Indeed, yeah, because there's been an awful lot of football over the festive period. Some of it, has been interrupted by some hideous weather, as we'll find out in a minute. But Patrick Lock has put together some highlights for you, and we're going to show those now, I think so.
Ox Sports Unleashed has been off your screens for just over a month, and especially at the end of December, that is a lot of time for football. The British weather, though, has had its say, and there has been a lot of games called off, but we'll have a quick look at what's happened in the past month for all of our Oxfordshire teams. For Oxford City, it was a win, 2 draws and 2 defeats. The first game into our Christmas break saw them get a point away at Spennymoor Town. This goal from DJ Sturridge midway through the first half couldn't quite see City to victory as Spennymoor levelled shortly after. Defeat against high-flying Merthyr Town and FA Cup heroes Macclesfield would follow in this period, the latter of which being this Saturday just gone. However, there was a dramatic win for the Hoops the weekend before last, as the Buxton thought they'd snatched a 90th minute leveller, but Darnell Johnson found this 95th minute goal to steal all 3 points back. Banbury United saw their schedule ravaged by the weather. All of their 3 home games succumbed to flooding that we covered several times before in this programme. There were 2 matches on the road for them, however, the first of which on the 27th December saw them lead through Joel Anchor against Stourbridge, but the hosts levelled with 20 minutes to play, so a point apiece there. 2 weeks later, a trip to the resurgent Worcester City saw them win it 20 minutes from the end. This goal from Conor Ferguson, the difference between the sides in a 1-0 victory. Tame United have kept up their fine form with 3 wins in 3 over the Christmas break. Lance Williams and Harry Alexander set them up for a great win at Marlow on the 20th December, winning 2-1 there, with Marlow getting one back in the second half, before a thumping 4-0 win saw them dismantle Leverstock Green on the 27th, with Louis Walsh, Ethan Lack, Harry Alexander and Jack Tutton all on the score sheet. A big break followed for them with postponements galore, but this Saturday just gone, Harry Alexander and Charlie Stowe were both on target for them as they turned it around against Biggleswade FC, the visitors taking the lead in the first half. Finally, all 5 of Didcot Town's games ended up in home wins, but sadly for them they were only at home twice in this time. They led at Malvern going into half-time, but their host struck 3 times in the second half to take a 4-2 win, while other defeats saw them defeated 2-0 at both Winchester City and Bidford. Two home wins, however, saw Owen James score the only goal of the game against Swindon Supermarine on the 27th December, before a couple of weeks later, a thrilling game saw Didcot win 4-2 against Falmouth Town, with Felix Robertson and Tyler Hall brace and Owen James again seeing the Railwaymen to victory. Of course, there's been plenty more going on around the county in the past month, and you can always hear more from the Football Roundup podcast, which has been continuing over the past month. If you head to Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you normally get your podcast from, myself, Lock, and also Ryde will take you through all the action every week of the season. Now that's it from me. Now head back to the studio for some more Ox Sports Unleashed.
Okay. Right, so thanks to Patrick Lott for that roundup of what's been happening locally, football-wise, while we've been off air. And I've been on the Banbury United website, so a fantastic feature here along the lines of, if you think, well, it's bad now, what about 1963? Here we are, what it says on the website. We may well currently be in a spell of bad weather with flooding and then ice and snow causing postponements of our last two scheduled games at the Spencer Stadium. There is certainly a very long way to go to match the club's inactivity during the legendary bad winter of 1963. After beating Lockheed Leamington 1-0 at the Spencer Stadium on Boxing Day 1962, the club did not play again due to snow and ice-covered pitches until a home game against Moor Green on Saturday the 9th of March 1963. 72 games during the season without a game. I mean, if you think that we're...
It's crazy, isn't it?
It is crazy, yeah. And I said that I've seen some more stuff. We've seen pictures before of Banbury United's flooded pitch with someone windsurfing there. There's a picture of some guy sort of having a bit of a swim in his bathers there as well, stumbling around the water. So, I mean, if they do get games on, a big shout out to groundsmen, because I think at these lower leagues they're pitchfork in hand, trying to get games on. I still remember down at Oxford City, okay, before they had the 3G pitch and before they had the drainage sorted out at the clubhouse end. It used to be everybody out there with Kleenex and whatever they could pin to mop up the ground there and get the games on. So when we come to the league tables, you'll see the devastating effect for yourselves about this bad weather, because there are some silly situations where there's like 10 games in hand on some clubs, okay, so and of course we know from previous episodes that the FA don't want to extend the seasons for a variety of different reasons, so you might end up with part-time players playing sort of 2-3 games a week to get the fixture list concluded there. So yeah, but if you think it's bad, go back to that 72 games without a game. I mean, not only that, they couldn't train properly either. So, I mean, God knows what their fitness was like at the end of that.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
I sort of reminded, I was away in Cornwall first week in January, and we had the red weather warning.
Oh, yeah.
So the alarm came on the mobile.
Oh, you
quite
got that,
loud.
did you?
Yeah, we got two on two phones.
I bet that woke you up.
That was quite loud. But to show how severe a weather is, you know, we're sat 1 minute in the kitchen, I think we were having dinner or playing a game, and it was like somebody flicked a switch. It was like a hurricane hit the house. It was incredible, and that just shows you how quick the weather can change and, you know, put people's lives at risk.
And I think we should say big up to Falmouth Town there on that weekend, because they came up from Falmouth and they played Didcot and they lost 4-2, as you probably saw from that roundup from Patrick Lott. So they went back on a 500-mile round trip empty-handed. But you have to say, Falmouth Town, you know, big up to them for actually making that fixture there. So, right. So we do have a bit of a Patrick Lott starring show this week, don't we?
We
He's
do.
behind the mix of this tonight.
Producer extraordinaire.
Yes, he's doing an awful lot of stuff. But
he did tell us to say that, didn't he?
He did tell us to say that. Yes. No money exchanged hands at all in that praise for Patrick Lott. But he has got fixture focus coming up for us, yeah. He
has, and I suppose we'd be remiss of me to say, you know, if you want to showcase any sport, as I mentioned earlier, send anything to our email address at oxsportsunleashed@gmail.com. There it is on your screen, oxsportsunleashed@gmail.com. We look forward to hearing from you. And again, if you want to get involved with producing or presenting or camera work or interviewing, whatever it might be, please get in contact with us at that email address. We'd be pleased to hear from you. Yes, as you rightly said, Colin, we're off to Fixture Focus with our regulars, Lock and Ryde, or as I like to call them, Starsky and Hutch.
Weather permitting, Mr. Patrick Lock, what have local football fans got to look forward to this coming weekend?
Yeah, so Oxford United, they got a relatively short trip, I'd say, up to the King Power to play Leicester City. For Saturday, 3 o'clock kick-off there. Oxford City, they're at home. They welcome AFC Fylde to the M Group Stadium, team they played on the opening day of the season. Banbury United, they're on the road. They travel to Spalding United in Southern League Premier Central. Tame also on the road. They head to AFC Dunstable in Division 1 Central. While Didcot Town are at home, they face Melksham Town in Division 1 South. And there's a full list of games on Sunday as well. Oxford United are back in league action. They welcome Cheltenham Town to Court Place Farm in Women's National League South. Abingdon United, they're at home as well. They host Moneyfields in Division 1 South West. And finally, Oxford City, I say they're full league fixtures on Sunday. They're in cup action. They travel to Wimborne Town in the Southern Region Women's Football League Chairman's Cup. So, yeah, we've got a full round of fixtures for the first time in a while, Colin.
Indeed. So the weather forecast looks as though at some point it's going to change to be frozen yet again. So time to put your thermals on. Meanwhile, we have midweek action as well, which we report on. I think on our live shows coming up. But for the time being, for myself, Colin Ryde and Patrick Lock, that's what it looked like last weekend. And we're looking forward to the weather being kind to us so we can enjoy a full fixture list this coming weekend. For the time being, for myself, Colin Ryde and Patrick Lock, thanks for listening. Bye for now.
Our thanks there to Locksmith and Rollercoaster for that roundup, or Starsky and Hutch. Great roundup as always, and you don't get this anywhere else. When you come up with the results service later on with the league tables, where do you find it? Oxsports Unleashed. So we do provide that information to you. Well, that takes us on to a different shaped ball, I think, Colin. And,
it does indeed.
Back to you.
And Chinnor Rugby Club going well again.
Fantastic.
Had another fantastic win last weekend against a top-sided club, and we have some highlights to show you now.
It's grabbed hold of by Alex Wolford. Whee, look at that from Alan Walker. What a dummy that is. Alan Walker, lovely offload as well. Walker, Carter, there's Smith, chased. Oh, he's missed. Smith to the corner. Oh, Louis James has missed him. And Chinnor do open the score. And I have to say it is all down to that man, Alan Walker, once again. It's flattened by Alan Walker. Ball back inside works. Ryan Hutler half saw a gap. Round the corner comes Alex Wolford. He bounces people out the way. Missed pass, ball over the top, could work, good hands. George Worth, away from players, Worth to Pascoe for the corner. And just like that, the Blues respond. No delay on Carter's pass, swallowed up in the tackle. Ball is placed back, the referee says yes please. Is it that man, the tight head? I think it is. Rakadzi's going to come up with it. It's a Georgian masterpiece. Day has to wait for it agonisingly. They've slowed it down. Chinnor will be happy because they get people into position. Lovely offload, ball in. What an offload that is! Oh, Fred Tuolangi. We'll have to look at that again, but I think that is unbelievable from Lucas Ditherington. He's just thrown that out the back door behind his back, and Tuolangi was in exactly the right place and cantered home. They need to get players out the way. Day's trying to get people out the way. Now eventually he gets it. Le Bourgeois out the back. Maisie, Worth, there's the hands. James all the way out to Hutler, who's going to stroll home. Agonising as it made its way across the pitch. But eventually it gets into the hands of Hutler, who crosses for his second try of the season. Now the rolling ball gets up ahead of steam. Walker's got his hand on the tiller and on the ball. Arm out from the referee. Free go. Bolton. Chamberlain through the gap. What an offload that is. Hanks back against the tide. Sam Hanks is over. Brilliant score from Chinnor. The man who lives in Bedford could have applied a killer blow against the Blues. Price. They're going to have to play roll the dice, and they're not going to get it to roll any further, because that is a really good victory for Chinnor. Many people saw it coming because Chinnor have been exceptional this season. They really have. And this is a very, very difficult place to come and play rugby.
So there we are, a fantastic win for the Chinnor Rugby Club, 27-17 in the end. And some of those tackles, I tell you, I mean, just sort of, you think, how does anybody come out of that alive, let alone anything else? And you see footballers go down as though they've been struck by a sniper's bullet. These lads just get up and get on with it, don't they? So, but well done to Chinnor. Kieran Bushton's been out there covering things for BBC Radio Oxford. He says it's a fantastic atmosphere. You want to see some good local rugby, get yourself down to Chinnor because they're playing really well as things stand, aren't they? So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a great atmosphere at Kingsley Road, and it's good rugby on offer to watch. So do get down there if you can. Who knows? They could, you know, if they continue the form they're showing at the moment, could be in a chance of promotion. You never know. It's a funny old game.
We did raise this a while back, I think, and someone in the know was saying that it's a bit of a closed shop, the Premiership, so whether they can do it. And again, also, you have to say that have they got the infrastructure to cope with it all? I don't know what the ground regulation rules are like with rugby. Someone could text us and let us know. But certainly with football, when you go up a league, you've got to actually have the ground regulation to go up the next league as well. And so anybody going from, say, the National League to the league proper has got to also, at some point, have the ground regulations in place to go up to a Division 1, right? And that costs an awful lot of money. It's things like floodlights. I mean, the list of things when City, I've been with City as Patrick Lock has been as well, through various promotions, you know, bigger dugouts, 3G pitch, lighting, more turnstiles, you know. And the thing is that you can apply for funding for these things. You're not guaranteed in getting it all. And then, of course, if you get it, like North League got promotion, they got a new stand, went back down. And so, you know, the worst one for me is always the one where a National League club has got a 3G pitch. They get into the league, they've got to rip that up. And that's just, that is losing income for people.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, they don't help. No, the FA often, to me, doesn't help. Anyway, I'm ranting about these things.
No, I think that's a good rant.
Valid points.
Good rant.
Valid points.
Very valid points. I think, you know, we were saying off air there about the referees as well. A fantastic job that they do.
I mean, I've no idea how a rugby referee sorts out whether the ball is being grounded. Okay, so I mean, I don't know whether at that level they've got the VAR or equivalent of rugby there. He's got to make a judgment calls whether that ball's being grounded fairly. Okay, so would you argue with that lot? I mean, just the discipline they have for those lads
is fantastic.
It is brilliant. Yeah, so big up to Chinnor Rugby Club and rugby referees in general.
Getting a good crowd of 2,000 plus up there on a regular basis, so it's a fantastic achievement. It really is. So keep doing the business, Chinnor boys. And if you, like I say, want to get down there, Kingsley Road is the place to be. You'll see some really decent rugby. Well done to them. Keep doing the work. So that takes us on to the little red ball and our Oxfordshire cricketers that are applying their trade elsewhere in 2026, and the first one there is Lindsay Smith. Oh, we got another different picture of Lynn's there. So
is that Lindsay?
Good. Yeah, it's a cracking picture actually, isn't it? Red runs deep. Love it. She has played in the opening 3 games for the Royal Challengers Bengaluru in the Women's Premier League in India. She hasn't taken a wicket yet, actually, but I think it's a pretty tough league to be in there. But that can only get better. So we wish Lindsay all the very best for the continuing games in that Women's Premier League in India. What a great experience for her.
Yeah, brilliant,
I think it's superb. And that takes us on to Colesy, James Coles, Sussex and England under-19 player. He's playing in the South African T20 for Sunrisers Eastern Cape. He's played 5 games. He's scored 106 runs with a strike rate of 163, 4 wickets, an economy rate of 7, and his highest score was in the second game versus Joburg Super Kings, where he scored 61. The Sunrisers Eastern Cape are through to the qualifier tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. start UK time. So you may be able to catch a bit of Colesy in action in the South African T20. We wish Colesy all the very best of luck for that. That takes us on. We had a couple of teasers before Christmas on the interview that Blake Bint did for us with Oxford UCCE head coach Graham Charlesworth, with the pending funding cuts to the UCE programme. We've got the full interview here now. We thank Blake for putting this together, but here's Graham Charlesworth, what he had to say about that situation.
A great summer, as we all know, weather-wise. So we played lots of cricket, which was good. And we started the season with 3 days up at Derby in great sunshine, which continued throughout the whole year. And it was like amazing. It was like March, I think. And the ground was really dry and hard at Derby. Can you believe it? The previous year they hadn't played in March or early April up there. So we did well to get some cricket. And then we moved on to the parks and we had 3 days at Nottinghamshire, who eventually became the county champions. So their first game of the year was pretty much against us, and then they ended up their last game winning the championship. So they had a great year. And it's always a good experience for our lads to play those early season county games. We've always done that. So it's a bit of a tradition over the years for universities to start the season against the counties. So happily that's still ongoing, and it's important for us to make it a worthwhile experience for the county players, the pros, because they're looking for some good match practice, middle practice before they go into the championship. And we're enthusiastic, and we're hopefully skilled enough to sort of stay with them for a few days early season and give them a good game. So that's our aim. And as we moved into the summer, we've got a Bucks campaign, which is really good cricket. It's like our league cricket program against all the other former UCCEs, and not really sure what to call them at the moment because we haven't got any funding anymore, but they used to be called UCCEs when the ECB used to fund the programme. And that's really good cricket against Loughborough, Durham, Cardiff, Leeds, Cambridge, Exeter. They're all very good sides. So I think the previous year we ended up winning that league with a final at Lords, and then this year we came bottom. So, the standards are the games are quite well balanced, and, if you get on the right side of a few results, you end up maybe getting a semi-final and a final. But if you lose a couple of games, you drop down the other way.
Well, of course, your squad's ever changing, and we'll come on to the kind of future of what the schemes might be. But just for you as a head coach, are you looking for results because you mentioned about winning the league last year and coming bottom this year, or are you more focused on emerging talent and saying, if we can get 2 of our guys to get pro contracts when they graduate, that's what we're there for?
I think the latter, really. I think results come and go, and as I said, that they can be quite fickle. You get on the right side of a few games and the wrong side of a few games, and some seasons you have good seasons and others not so good. But I think overall, over 20, more than 20 years I've been involved, we've had 25, 26 guys maybe going to converting into professional cricket, and a lot of those guys came out of club cricket. They didn't come out of the pathways or contracts. They came out of club cricket, so they were probably late developers who we managed to add some value to along the way and give them some good experiences and some good structured training. And so all the other UCCs have produced many cricketers in the same way. So between us, I think we've done a great job in terms of, in some cases taking on, players who are very much in the pathways and maybe contracted, and in other instances, players who have just missed out for one reason or another. And, maybe miss out at 14 and 15 out of the pathways, and suddenly 18, 19, they're developing quite nicely as cricketers, and just maybe developing at different stages of their careers. So I think we're quite good at giving those types of cricketers opportunities.
You think the players that lose their spot in pathways at 18 would be affected most? Is that still your belief? Can you expand on that?
Yeah, I think it is disappointing, because I think throughout the history of the game, going back many years, even before the UCCs were even invented, there's been a close link between universities, the university game, and players at university becoming, graduating into county cricket and beyond, international cricket. You go to the Oxford Parks, there's like a whole load of boards there with many internationals and England captains and all sorts of things. So the history of the game has many instances of the connection between university education, further education, and cricket. So it's a shame that link's been broken after all this time. And I'm a bit biased, because I've seen how the system works pretty well in so many cases. But I'm not sure. I feel a bit sorry for I feel a bit sad that the game of cricket, the governing body have not really I think they realise how important it has been, but they've just they can do what they like, but they've chosen to not invest in it anymore. So that's, we're not 100% sure why that is, but it's a model that's I think done well over the years, and it's sad for us, and it's sad for the players who are aspiring to play cricket and aspiring to get a further education, get degrees. It's always been a good situation for players to have that qualification outside of cricket, whilst pursuing their main interest in cricket. So, yeah.
Does it feel like a gradual decline for you? Because first class status got lost on the games had during pre-season a few years ago now. And it seems that the last few years, the friendlies have been really thought of with differing due care depending on the county. I've seen some games where they're played on, barely on the main square with 30-yard boundaries. Some counties are just treating it as a second team friendly before the season. Obviously, a lot of the time they're late March, so the pitches aren't always fully ready. Does that feel disappointing as well?
No, I think disappointing is, in my opinion, the wrong word. I think we've always played these games in March, April. They've always been early season games. And I think, from my experience, I think the counties generally put out quite good sides for these games, because often it's the last sort of three-day game before the first championship game. So I think they do like to get their main players, some bowling time and batting time in the middle. And I think in that respect, it's always been quite useful for them, as long as, the opposition that we provide is up to standard. And we obviously prepare very hard over the winter to make sure the players are ready for those sort of challenges. So I wouldn't say disappointing. I think it's, if you play a pre-season game in March or April on the county square, you're not going to be right in the middle of the square. You're always going to be on the margins of the square, whether they're playing an intra-county game between themselves or whether they're playing against external opposition. Those pitches early season are going to be on the edge of the square, and then if they play at the parks like Nottinghamshire did last year, they're going to be right in the middle of the square. So I don't see that so much, really.
Well, let's talk about the money then, because it seems as though £200,000 is going to be redistributed from the ECB going forward. Leeds and Bradford's UCC scheme have said themselves they're having to try raise £35,000 themselves as players and as a club to try keep themselves going, while some others are receiving funding from elsewhere counties and the universities that concerns them themselves. How is it looking for Oxford?
Yeah, so we Oxford Brooks have taken over the administration of the scheme for the last few years. So they gladly, happily see the value in what's happened over the years, over a long period of time, in terms of players, cricketers coming and developing through that route. So they happily have allocated some funds to continue pretty much the system as it was, when we were funded. So they are doing, I think they've done, in the short term, the next year or so, they've sort of committed to that, and that's really good news for all of us, and the players especially who are coming to university right now and hope, have ambitions and aspirations to sort of be part of that structured environment, cricket environment, and move things on. So, and also we're grateful to the ECB for providing, the county pre-season friendlies again next year. They're, the friendly pre-season friendlies are coming out, being announced quite shortly, along with all the other the main county programs. So, we are getting some more pre-season games, which, as I've said previously, I think they're really useful and helpful.
Let's think about the league structure as well, because obviously it affects, as you spoke about, your Bucks season as well. Losing that status may mean the league might have to be restructured. That's what a senior figure at Bucks has currently said, is that they're looking into reconsidering the structure of the league. How do you think the direction of that might go?
Yeah, I think there's some soundings on that. I think it's obviously sits with Bucks and ECB to sort those things out. But I think whilst there was external funding from MCC and ECB for the scheme, then it made sense for those partnerships to play in Bucks as a partnership. And Leeds and Cardiff are actually the only two universities that have maintained that partnership in Bucks. Oxford, Durham and Loughborough are separate entities anyway, so are Exeter and Cambridge. And Oxford and Oxford Brookes decided to put separate teams into the Bucks, 2 or 3 years ago, actually. So I think Leeds and Cardiff are the only partnership sides in Bucks at the moment. That's not really, for me to sort of make a decision on. That's more, lies with the Bucks, administrators and also with ECB.
With so many cricketers coming through private educated system anyway, could it be potentially that counties just look to schools instead and take them on from a slightly younger age, as well as looking through their academies?
The universities are still offering that opportunity to get into the game, and that structure, that performance structure that you need. Alongside the universities, you've got the club and the national county structure. So they're the other routes for amateur players to get into the professional game. So it's just, I suppose, if you're working for a living outside the university, outside of school, you've got less time to sort of, I suppose, devote to cricket, really. And it might be a net at the weekend with the club or something, but that's just, I guess that's just a reality of life. When you leave school, you either have to, hopefully some people will get rookie contracts or whatever, and some will go to university and get support there. And the other ones, there's always been a bit of an issue there. So I suppose ECB, that's a question for them.
Graham, thank you for your time.
Thanks there to Blake Bint and, of course, Graham Charlesworth, the Oxford UCCE head coach. Very informative and some really good action on that clip as well. So well done, Blake. Thank you for putting that together for us. It's fantastic. And that is quite interesting, of England's losing in Sri Lanka today.
Yeah, I did watch it this afternoon. One of the advantages being someone of my age is that I can watch cricket on a Thursday afternoon, but I must say it was a bit dismal at times, I have to say, so not the best of fares. So compared to some of the local lads we see and the exciting stuff we see locally, you have to wonder why people go and pay money. I mean, I've been offered sort of seats down at Southampton for a huge price to go and watch England games, but you don't know what is going to turn up.
No,
right?
that's true.
If you pay all that money, you don't get your money back if it's rained off. Yeah. Anyway, another rant.
That is another rant, but a well worth one, to be honest. Well, that sort of takes us on to there was a bit of an Ashes tournament going on.
It was a bit,
around Christmas and pre-Christmas.
Did it go well?
Not particularly. Not for our predictions,
No.
anyway, Colin, to be honest. But I think Wes has put something together about how poor our predictions were. I was well off, wasn't I?
Yeah. I said
well off.
3-2 lost, but Kieran was ultra pessimistic, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's see how it all went down. Anyway, here's the team, the Ashes predictions. See who came out top and who's the worst then.
It's a still. Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry. I thought we had to.
We're going through. Oh, we've got that. Yeah. Look, Blake Bint's the top of the leaderboard, isn't he? He got 4-1. Absolutely spot on.
He did.
So well done to him. Billy Bowden, he was a bit like me, wasn't he? He was hoping that we might do a little bit better than we did. If you think about it, if we won in Perth, things could have been so different. Battered, absolutely battered. Anyway, is there any other predictions? Is there any other slides? Nothing on that. I was quite pleased. I got Australia's top run scorer and top wicket taker in Stark and Ed. I was quite pleased about that. I said Brooke would be our highest run scorer, but he was second. I don't know. What about you, Colin? Can you remember your?
Yeah, 3-2. I said in the end. I said Australia was going to win. I hoped that there would be at least one win for England and a tight win as well. But in the end, I think it was just a bit. Mind you, Jerome Sale writing in the matchday programme on Saturday, he went out there, okay, and he had tickets for all 4 days of the test that England won. He got to see a win. But he didn't get to see his money's worth. And you don't get your money back, I assume, so it ends 2 days early. So, and you got to feel sorry for people who... It was on his bucket list, apparently, to go out and see England play in Australia, along with many other people. And you have to feel sorry for someone who's paid, 10 grand to go out there for the whole series, or more than that. So, yeah.
Oxford Downs first team captain, Matt Warner, was down under for the whole.
Was he?
Yeah, for the whole 5
Oh wow!
test match.
Okay.
So I'm sure.
Is he still there?
I think he was sober 2 of those days. I think from that, but he might correct me when I see him later on. He's playing in New Zealand at the moment.
Okay.
He's having a hit in New Zealand at the moment. So he's having a cracking winter away from some of the appalling weather that we've had. That's for sure. So good luck to Matt for the rest of the season in New Zealand, that is for sure. So that takes us back to our normal roundup, Colin, of the football tables. And as Wes said pre-Christmas, our Belgian waffles of what we do through the league tables. So I think we can waffle away now.
I'll start off with Oxford United. Changed their manager, got a couple of draws, but look where they are really. 23rd, one off the bottom spot there, and starting to be a little bit adrift. They've got some new signings coming in, so hopefully they will make a bit of a difference though, but it's going to be a long, old season to get there. You've
been there a couple of times, haven't you, in recent weeks? Do you see any encouraging signs there, Colin?
Yeah, Matt Bloomfield's an infectious character. Spent his playing career at Wycombe Wanderers and has bounced around at various sort of league areas, done quite well with certain teams as well. Come in, and the first thing you see when you meet him, and we have sort of brushed shoulders with him at the Kassam Stadium, is he's very enthusiastic, clearly enjoys what he does, and he's got the players playing with a sense of urgency, really. I think I said before that some of these players, I think, have been playing in top gear for one game, and then they've not got enough in their tank to play in top gear for the whole 90 minutes of a second game. But they've got some new signings coming in, new lad from Nottingham Forest, a couple of other lads have been brought in as well, a lad called Lancashire.
From Brentford?
Yeah, a lad called Lancashire up front on loan from Tottenham Hospital, it's quite good. But the sad news is that Tyler Goodrum got injured, and he's had an operation on his ankle, and he's going to be out for the rest of the season. Tyler Goodrum's a very live wire, so it's a big miss for Oxford United. So they are unfortunately at the wrong end of the table. My bet noir, being a Southampton man, Pompey, did get a draw away at Watford midweek as well, so they pulled further away from Oxford United. Next slide, please.
We waffled well there, didn't we?
Good, yeah.
Just in the
next slide. What's that?
EFL. Yes. You ready? Oh, Oxford City, they're just above the relegation zone. Well done. But they have played 27 games. That's the only disappointing sort of sign for them, isn't it? But of late, they've done sort of all right over the Christmas and New Year period. So let's hope they keep putting some results together to get further up that table.
Banbury United, we heard that they've been falling foul of the weather. Look where they are, 13th Asting stand, games in hand on teams below them and above them. So if they can put some more points on the board, they should be well safe come the end of the season.
55 draws. 55 draws again they've had.
Oh dear.
Well done, Banbury. That's the Where's Wesley for this week. Or there might be more Where's Wesleys, who knows. But there we go. In Southern Football League Division 1 Central, Tame United sitting pretty in 8th position with 41 points, with 13 wins actually out there, 23 games. So
again, they've got games in hand around the teams around as well.
That's
good,
pretty
good going. Yeah. Didcot Town, they really have had an up and down season, and you can see they are currently 15th on 26 points, but their goal difference is looking not too good at the moment, minus 21 there. So a long way to go, long old season here, so they can pick up a few more points down there at the Loop Meadow.
And in the Cherry Red Records Combined Counties Football League Premier Division North, love saying that each week, as you can see, Ardley have slipped into 5th position. That's purely and simply because they haven't had a game. They haven't played due to the weather, and they've now got 5 games in hand on the top side and plenty of games of the sides above them. But Wallingford and Crowmarsh doing really well in 3rd with 47 points. Fair play to them. And obviously in 8th and 9th position, Milton and Kidlington respectively, both with 37 points, both going reasonably well.
But look at that, look at Hilltop there. They played 30 games compared to Ardley's 21. I mean, that's just daft, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy.
That's not
a mistake.
That is correct.
This is the truth, people. Yeah, it's BBC Verify confirm.
I don't think that's the hilltop in Walking Dead, is it? No. I'm just checking.
Oh dear me. Right.
Did you like that, Colin?
No, I didn't know. Okay. That just passed me by completely, that one. So, right, Cherry Red Records Combined Counties Football League, Premier Division North, Abbey United, 14th currently. North Lee, just above the relegation zone here, and not looking good for them. I think they need to pick up points quickly if they're going to survive at this level.
A couple of games in hand, they might be okay.
Yeah, could do, yeah.
And the GCE Higher Fleet United Counties League Premier South, Easington Sports just slipping a little bit into 16th position, just 2 or 3 places above the relegation zone there. But I think they've got a bit of a buffer on the points of the bottom 2 there, so it looks okay for Easington Sports going forward.
Wantage Town, they're still putting teams to the sword with big results, but currently 2nd here, 47 points, just 1 point behind the team at top, Bewdley Town there, and of course they've got a game in hand over them as well. And
44 goals.
Yeah, I know they are looking good at the moment, Wantage Town. So let's hope they do succeed in getting promoted this season. Good to hear from somebody from Wantage Town. We need to get in touch with them, word, yeah. Absolutely. There we go, in Division 1 there, Carterton, my hometown, going reasonably okay in 14th. They've got a bit of a buffer on the relegation zone, but not too much. They can't let that slip. They've got a couple of games in hand, so I think they should be okay. Unfortunately, our other 2 sides there, Clanfield 85 and Tame United Reserves, in the bottom places with 14 and 5 points respectively. Into the ladies divisions, Oxford United doing pretty well, currently in 5th on 20 points. And in the Women's National League Division 1 South West, Abbey United flying the colours there quite well for Oxfordshire in 5th position with 20 points. And in the Premier South, Oxford City are 8th with 12 points. Just a games in hand around. It's an interesting time, isn't it, really, for these teams, really. So if they get their games played and they're on song, they can shoot up the tables quite quickly.
There we go. That's the tables roundup for this week. We thank Wesley Spearman for putting that together for us. So that takes us on to our regular results service, put together for us by Kieran Bushnell. We thank K-Dog for doing that, and Wes for making it a little bit smarter. And here's the results from your region last weekend. There might have been a couple of Wes on that one, but well done again to Wes and Kieran for putting that together for us. We thank them very much indeed. And a big shout out actually to Oxford United women coming from 1-0 down against Middlesbrough in the FA Cup there, because there was only a couple of minutes to spare and they managed to strike great three result. Times, so great result for them.
And good crowd down there too.
Good crowd down there. So well done to them. And that is a results service that you don't get anywhere else. And if you want to help us and help us with no Wes, then do get in contact with us. We'd love to hear from you. You can do anything. You can edit things together for us, and we would really appreciate it. So get in contact at that email address again, at oxsportsunleashed@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Well, that just about wraps it up for this week. Colin, thank you again for joining us, and thank you for joining us on like I say, a miserable Thursday night. So please join us again next week, where we'll unleash some more Ox Sports. See you then.
Bye for now.